What is going on, guys? J-Hoy back with you today. I'm bringing you episode number 25 of the Be a GM series. And once again, I'm being joined by Chris. How you doing today?
Pretty good, man. Got off to a good start this season. Hope to keep rolling.
Yeah, I mean, sort of a kind of a good start, but we started out kind of rough, but then we brought it back to 20, 14, and 4. Now, we did actually make a couple of changes, no trades, but we did make a couple of line changes. Now, we did add Palat and Zibanejad, to the first line with Bobby Ryan and Hoffman, Turris, and Oshie on the second line. Now, the reason kind of behind that was Hoffman's more of a scorer. Oshie's a two-way guy that's putting up penalty minutes for whatever reason. And Turris is just an offensive guy. Now, Palat's a playmaker, obviously, but he's more of a playmaker than a scorer. And then Zibanejad and Ryan are both kind of scorers. So if it kind of balances out, plus it's a playmaker, two-way forward sniper, and it's basically a sniper that scores, or a playmaker that scores, a playmaker, and a two-way forward. So it kind of balances out. Bottom four haven't changed. Defense hasn't changed. We did actually make an offer to a backup goalie in Devin Dubnyk. Now, he is an 83, I believe, or 84 overall backup goalie. Now, we have to actually simulate a day or two before it actually registers because this game is just weird. But either way, if we simulate past Detroit, who's kind of struggling, and up to the other team that's actually doing it. So Devin Dubnyk, 83 overall. So our plan is basically to sign him for the rest of the year, send D down, and basically, hopefully, with a better proven veteran backup that it will help us going towards the playoffs. We did just put Dubnyk in the backup role in the NHL, and we did send Dia down, and we are starting him down there. So hopefully he can get a little bit more seasoning, hopefully fix out his kinks, and continue on being good for us down in the AHL. So hopefully next year we can give him another chance or even something else different, and hopefully take over Leonard someday and become that superstar goalie that he probably has the potential for. But either way, we did lose our first game, won the next two. So Turris and Yandel still leading the team in points. So going towards the All-Star game and the All-Star break, do you think who's your All-Star for this team so far?
Well, just to mention really quickly, we did go check to see the stats of Hunter Shinkaruk and Jakob Silfverberg. We did trade him to St. Louis, like Josh mentioned in the last video. Silfverberg has 6 points in 38 games, and Hunter Shinkaruk, 35 points in 38 games. Never would have done that for our team, so we look like idiots for trading him, but he wasn't performing for our team, so we were actually smart in doing so. But as far as an all-star on our team, I don't know. Nobody's really standing out to me. We could be without an all-star this year. I don't know where Leonard ranks as far as wins compared to other goaltenders, at least in the Eastern Conference. I don't think Turris and Yandel are even close to the top of the leaderboard in either of those categories they're leading our team in. So, honestly, I don't believe we have an all-star this year.
I think so. Well, let's go check because, I mean, a couple of guys are kind of on the top, but, I mean, with guys like Skinner, Crosby, and Kessel, I mean, makes you wonder. Was anybody there? No, okay. Then third line, fourth line, okay, nobody there. Carlson, kind of expected that one. And then nobody on our defense. Then our goalies. What? We have two goalies that are better than that. But either way, whatever. So we did have Carlson that did make it. Not even leading our team in either of the points categories. But let's go check real quick. So we're still tied with, I think we were tied with somebody else last time. But yeah, we were tied with Buffalo. But either way, tied for third. We've had Leonard basically since the start. Hoffman, Stone. We had Silfverberg early on. We brought Hunter Shinkaruk in a big trade. I don't remember that one, but he started out young. He developed, gave him a chance. He got up to a very high overall and then didn't perform. So I don't want to see that repeated with like a D or somebody like that with good potential, but he ends up getting up to the overall, but doesn't have the stats and everything to prove that. So like Carolina with the Stahl brothers, with the exception of Jared and Mark. And we gotta beat those teams because I was in their Eastern Conference, but we gotta keep this winning streak going, and we gotta get better stats than we have now. 26, 22, and 5. At this rate, we're probably gonna be like a what the Islanders were last year, kind of get that 8th seed and not do very well. But you never know because they won the cup last year. So whatever they did obviously worked. So one name, I think the first time I've seen it this year, Bobby Ryan leading the way in goals. Got 2 goals that last game, I believe. So is our stars starting to heat up? I mean, Yandel's still been there. Oshie's still leading the way in penalty minutes for whatever reason. And it does look like, what did Dia have? He had 2 last time, I think. We checked. So that means Dubnyk does have 2 wins since we got him. And going into the Western Conference games here, what are you looking for the trade deadline? Do you want to make any moves? Do you think we have a good possibility to bring something better to this team?
Well, Josh, I want Bobby Ryan. He hasn't. I don't think he's scored in the last 5 games, if I remember correctly. But he needs to really step up. He is leading our team in goals, and I don't know what that says about the rest of our team. 21 goals now in 58 games. You want more out of that star offensive stud on your team. Through 60 games, he should have 30 goals without a question. Our assist leader should be way closer to 50 than 38. So honestly, I think our team's underperforming, and somehow we're still finding a way to win. So just continuing to win, continuing to grit out games, 7-4, a 3-1 loss, whatever, that's fine, but just staying in the games, finding ways to win. That's how you end up in the playoffs and end up winning the cup, like that 8th seed Islanders in the last year.
Yeah, the Islanders made an incredible run. But either way, we're sitting at the trade deadline. I mean, we're a couple days before it. But either way, we're at the trade deadline. There's no games between now and then. 32-25-5. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but if you look back at Washington, they were in the kind of the same boat as us. Obviously, they have Ovechkin. I don't really know what else they have on their team other than Backstrom and him, and I'm not really sure if they've made any big moves. But looking at our team, I'm not really sure what to do. So, we can always check stats. We can always check the standings. We can always check, this goalie, this defenseman, this forward, whatever. But what is making this team get to the playoffs and not perform? So, we brought in a couple of guys. We brought up some young guys. But what is the actual purpose for them? So, Turris, Zibanejad playing the first 2 lines. They're both underperforming. So, I'm not really sure what to think about that one. Pajot's still underperforming. Lazar, maybe we put Pajot on the 4th line. He might excel. I'm not exactly sure. So we might make that change. Palat looks like he's been more of a playmaker on that first line with Ryan, so maybe that's why he's going off now. Hoffman kind of doing the same numbers he was before. Hopefully he gets a little bit more out of him. Right wings, Bobby Ryan's still there, but we still need more from him. TJ Oshie, still need more from him. Mark Stone, maybe it's time to get rid of him. I'm not really sure. But either way, our defense is still performing or still scoring. CeCe's having a 60-point season like he's had before. But, now we have 4 solid defensemen that are all putting up 38-plus points. Then our 3rd line, maybe we even downgrade that. And maybe we even, get rid of, a Gardner or a Yandel. Move Ouellette up. And not make our defense bad, but make our defense a little worse as far as overall. Because, 11 and 14 points for an 86 and 84, you'd expect more. But that's what I was saying before, how you expect, 14 points out of a defenseman, but not an offensive one. That makes sense. So, maybe we trade either an Ouellette or a whoever else to upgrade our depth scoring. That might help. Or we just, I don't know what else to do. Because, we've built a great defense, but if they're not performing, that doesn't help. So 3-1 since Dubnyk's been here. Great to see on that one. D was 2-4. Obviously a big upgrade with Dubnyk there. Leonard seems like he's stepping up a little bit. Not really too much, but a little bit. So I'm not really sure what to go from this. I'm probably going to look for some trades in the trade deadline. But other than that, I don't really know what else to do. So if we find anything, obviously we'll show you. If not, then we'll continue on simulating it towards the playoffs. And hopefully we can find something or change around something to help us for the playoffs. So either way, guys, we'll see you in a second. So we did just kind of find a trade we were kind of interested in. Now, basically the thinking behind this trade is Ouellette, he's not, I don't want to say he's not performing, but he's playing on the 3rd line with Mayarov. So, we're kind of not using him the right way, if that makes sense. So, if we just, he's got tons of trade values you can see on your screen. So, we figured might as well use him for trade value more than anything, because we have Schutz in the AHL that's an 83 overall, not really doing anything. I don't think he's even really playing. But him and Stone been around for a while, not really doing much of anything anymore. Kind of reached his peak as it is. And then a couple unsigned guys that have a little bit of trade value on them, not really much. But either way, we were trying to get a third line scorer to kind of help out with Peugeot, kind of help out with Bozen, because Stone just really wasn't doing it. So Grabner, veteran sniper, right wing, kind of same salary as Olette, so it kind of works that way. Get a prospect in Hosang and a second and a third round pick from this year. So will it go through? No. So maybe if we throw the picks down a little bit, don't want to go too far here. But so maybe if we go for because we do have a little bit extra on our side. Will that just go through? No, it won't. Okay, so maybe if we throw something on our side. We don't really have many picks left because we usually use them for trading wise. But let's try a fourth, third, just a touch. So the second will go through. All right, so we did just put Grabner on the third line. We put Schutz in the lineup. We brought him up, obviously. And other than that, we put Hosang down the AHL. And actually, I'm going to go put him in the lineup real quick, and then we'll continue simulating after that. So going towards the end of the season with a couple new pieces, couple new guys in different spots, I don't think we actually made the line changes back to where we had them before because we weren't really doing much. But if you guys didn't see them, these are the new lines. We didn't really do much of them, put Grabner in. But either way, hopefully this lineup can go forward and actually win us some games in the playoffs. Because we've basically, I mean, there's very few players left that are on the original team. So hopefully we can, build past what we had before and get past the first round. Because if that's so, then we can hopefully like throw a party or something. Because obviously I don't want to call ourselves a failure, but with 5 first-round exits, 5 first-round eliminations, can't really look past that one when you look at success in a GM series. Because, I mean, Erik Karlsson leading your, 2 defensemen leading your team in points. I mean, it's great to see, but where's our forwards kind of thing, So, I mean, with the addition of Grabner, that should help out our third line, our depth scoring even. Other than that, I mean, I don't really know what else to improve this team, like I said, other than basically cheating and getting all the best players in the league and turning off salary and whatever. And, I mean, other than that, you can't really improve this team too much more other than, basically cheating. So, a couple of losses to some top teams. Got Detroit coming up. They're not doing too much better. We lose. Why? We are losing against the stupidest teams. Zibanejad took over in goals. He's playing on the first line now with Bobby Ryan. So, Bobby Ryan needs to step up his scoring, not really let Zibanejad score. I mean, obviously he can score too, but, Bobby Ryan, 90 overall guy, he's your main scorer. He's your mainstay on the first line. You need him to score. You need Hoffman to score. You need Grabner to now put up points. There's Hoffman right there, 25 now, gets a point, or gets a goal in the Florida game. But one thing to mention, though, I don't think I mentioned this before, but at the trade deadline, we didn't, you saw the trade, obviously. But we went into the deadline, didn't make any moves, but we were kind of watching what other teams were doing. Nino Niederreiter started out in Minnesota. He went to Chicago, then got traded again to Columbus. So, 3 different teams in a span of a couple hours for him. So, hopefully he finds a new home and stays there for more than a couple hours, and hopefully takes them for future endeavors. But we want to win. We don't want other teams to win. We want us to win. So 42 wins. Doesn't look like we're gonna break the wins mark set by last year's season, but maybe it will help us out in the playoffs because we got a couple games left. I think we got about 4. Then there's one the next week. So it does look like we have made the playoffs. Hopefully we don't lose too many games here to make our record look even worse. But Boston and New York Rangers, hopefully we can beat them. Oshie putting up a lot of penalty minutes. Not really quite sure why that is. But I'm interested to see Dubnyk, our backup goalie and Dubnyk has done, and our depth scoring and whatever else really stands out. Because it's just a trend when we actually do well in the year that our team doesn't really stand out. It's just kind of an average team, but then we just get first round every time. So 45, 30, and 7. A big downgrade from last year. Not really quite sure why, but either way, let's go check stats really quick, and I'm actually going to check the standings and all that good stuff to see maybe if our power play was doing bad, if our penalty kill, all that type of good stuff, and then we can stop the recording. Hopefully, push through to the playoffs and finally get past the first. Turris Zibanejad, I don't know what happened with Zibanejad, but he fell off on scoring a little bit. Peugeot, maybe it's time to get rid of him because, I mean, we need a good third-line center, and Peugeot's certainly not doing it. So Lazar took over. He first year back up here, finally puts up his points, and Foster playing fourth line left wing. Don't really think about that, but Hoffman and Palat playing top two lines, so not really sure what to think about that one either. I mean, Shinkarik was playing that type of numbers, but obviously a different role than Palat, but Oshie kind of underperformed this year. Kind of expect a little bit more out of him, but the penalty minutes, I don't know what happened on that one. Then this is what I wanted to see. Almost 50 points from our top four. Glad to see there, but Schutz came up, didn't really do too much of anything. I mean, 2 points is still 2 points, but you definitely expect more out of him. Dubnyk, 10 games, 6-3. That's all right. I mean, that's kind of what we expected, at least what I expected. But then 69 games for Leonard, 37-23 and 7. So 37-30 for him total. Glad to see there, but I'm not going to show you the AHL lines because those are just dreadful. And so we did lock up a playoff spot. Toronto actually gets #1 overall seed this year. And looks like it's all Eastern Conference, the top 5. So that's good to see. So let's go check the goals for and all that good stuff. So we were we were tied for first in goals for. Kind of crazy stat there. Pretty good goals against, so that's good to see. Power play, second in the league. First in the East, I should say. We've gotten tons of chances. Our power play is good. Showing goals against are not where they should be. Power play goes, wow, that's a good stat. So it looks like our short-handed team is doing quite well, even though the percentage isn't, up there where it probably should be. Short-handed goals for, and there you go. 8-2 in the last 10, so that's great to see. But either way, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here because it is getting very, very hot in this room. And anything else you got to say, Chris?
Nope, just hopefully we can make it past the first round this year.
Seems to be a trend in our final comments before the playoffs. But either way, I don't think, or I will do it this year and let you guys know who we're going to face in the playoffs. That way I can know too. So we are going to face Pittsburgh. So I don't think we faced them yet. So hopefully we can get past the first round. They probably still got Crosby and Malkin. And actually, let's show them real quickly. And that way we can see who we're going to face and see what the comparison between the teams are. So on our screen now is our team. So we got Palat, Zibanejad, Ryan, Hoffman, Turris, Oshie, Bozen, Peugeot, Grabner, Foster, Lazar, Palmieri. Then we got Gardner, Carlson, Yandel, Ceci, Schutz, Mayrov. We got Leonard and D in the net. So let's go look at Pittsburgh real quick. So we got Perron, we got Crosby and Malkin. Obviously, we expected that one. Hornquist, Downey, Bo Bennett. Then they drop off a little bit. Don't really know how this team made the playoffs, honestly. They have a good top 2 centers, and they have good first-line wings. Bennett's not really a slouch, but usually he doesn't really perform. But other than that, I think we got this. I mean, unless their defense is super strong. I mean, they got a good top 4. Wow. Okay, this is going to be a good series then. So they're kind of equal with us. I mean, Fleury, I mean, I don't want to say we have the advantage in goalies, but I mean, Fleury's an 87, Leonard's at 86. I mean, we have Dubnyk as our backup, which is the same thing as Grice, basically. So they might have the edge in goalies, but we kind of have that depth in the third and fourth lines. But other than that, guys, I think I'm going to leave it on this. I mean, it's been long enough, and I'm getting very, very warm. So next video will be the off-season. Chris, anything you got to say for the well, not the what am I saying? The off-season, the playoffs. We're talking about playoffs here. Chris, anything you got to say?
I think we're going to win this series 4-2 and at least get to the second round for the first time in 6 years. Whoop, there it is.
Strong words from that. But either way, guys, that's me at the end of the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment what you think of the series so far and let me know what you think. Hopefully we can get past the first round and subscribe for more. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later.